Hey guys, welcome back to Zindy. So today I'm going to show you how to make these glittered pins. Okay, so these are all the supplies needed that you see here. So here's a finished one. This is just a very basic one with 2 colors of glitter. They're super fun, super cool. I think y'all are going to really enjoy making these. Okay, so first things first, you'll need your pins. Okay, so the ones in this video are inkjoy pins. All right, so they look like this. They have colored ones or they have solid black ones. So either one will work. It doesn't matter. All right, so we have our pins. Then we also will need our dowel rods. And what we're going to do with these is actually use these to hold the pins. I'll show you that in the video in a few minutes. But first things first, let's go ahead and pick one of our pins. We're going to do the black one today. Let me get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so whenever you get your pen, it's going to look like this. Whoop. All right, so it's going to look like this. So the first thing we need to do is remove this part, okay? So these are flush cutters. They're super nice because they're really flat on this side. So you can get really close to the pen so that you won't have a weird notch that you have to sand down a lot. If you do, it's okay. We can get it gone, but this just helps where you don't have to do as much sanding. So we're just going to get really close to the pen like that and slowly snip that off. All right, so that looks pretty good. So we were able to get pretty close. We don't have any weird notch or anything. But while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and take the pen apart. All right, so we got the end, and you can decorate the end as well. Okay, so I'll show you that. We're not gonna do it in this video, but you totally can decorate the end also. So we have that. We have the inside of the pen. It'll have a spring and then the ink. And then you're going to have 2 pieces in here. The silver and then this, okay? So you just want to keep all these pieces together so that when you're done, you can assemble your pen back and it's all working properly. All right, so now we are going to take our little sander and we're just going to sand this notch. I mean, it's not bad at all, but we're just going to do it just to be safe. Make sure it'll just make it a little easier to get a nice smooth finish. Now you can also sand the whole thing. I personally don't like sanding very much. It gives me the goosebumps. So if I don't have to sand, I don't. So I am not going to sand this, but if you feel better painting it after sanding it, you totally can. Or you could just lightly sand it just to rough it up a little bit. But that is totally up to you, okay? Now, from here, we do want to clean this off with some rubbing alcohol. I'm just going to be using a little alcohol swab today. And that's just to clean it up, get any residue on there so everything sticks properly. Now, next thing we need is our dowel rods. The size dowel rod we're using is 1/4 inch. They look like this. And again, with my weird texture thing, I cover mine with tape for no reason other than I just don't like how that part feels. But you don't have to do that, okay? So we have our dowel rod, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the barrel of our pen and we're just going to slide it on there and just push it until it's tight. The tape is not holding it on, it's the pen actually gets a little skinnier right here, and if you push it all the way in, it gets tight on this area, okay? So our pen is on there. Now, this is an optional step, okay? You don't have to do this, but I prefer to do it, especially when you're using lighter colored glitter. And you can spray paint or you can use acrylic paint. I am going to use acrylic paint today. So we're gonna just paint this with white acrylic paint really quick. It doesn't have to be a big layer or anything. It's just to help the glitter really pop where you need less coats of it. Especially on this pen being that's a black pen, the white base will just help your glitter really show up better. But again, it doesn't have to be acrylic paint. You can totally use spray paint. Especially if you're doing a lot, spray paint can be quicker sometimes. All right, that's all you need, nothing fancy. All right, move this out the way. Now, This dowel rod has two purposes. One is just to give you like a handle to hold on to it while your paint or whatever is drying, or while you're curing your UV resin. And then also these little craft clips, you can clip these on here, and this will just help you have more to hang on to, and also a stand when you put it under your light. Okay? So, like so. Zoom out so you can see it. There we go. Now, we're gonna let that dry. It doesn't need to dry long at all, just a few minutes. All right, my dears, it's been about 5 or 10 minutes that I've let this dry. We could put another coat if we wanted to. If you were gonna use a really light glitter, I would put another coat, but the glitter we're using is a silver holographic, and it's pretty opaque, so I'm not going to worry about putting any more white paint, but you totally can. Before we go on to the next step, I also want to show you how to put the tip of the pen on here if you wanted to do the tip also. Okay, it's super easy. So as long as you have the right dowel rods, you just slide this on there and it fits like perfectly. And then you don't have to worry about it falling off or anything. It gives you a really good handle. So you would do it like this, and you would do the same thing that we're doing to this one. You would paint it white, add your glitter, so on and so forth. Okay, so now we have our white acrylic paint on here. Let me go ahead and get my gloves, and we will do our first layer of glitter. All right, so this is just a folder to catch our excess glitter, because it's important and we don't want to waste it. All right, and then we are going to get our UV resin skim coat. It looks like this. Basically, it's like UV resin, but it's thinner and it's good for like oddly shaped items such as this. Okay, so we are just going to apply UV resin onto it and just give it a light coat all the way around. This is basically what's gonna adhere our glitter to our pen. Don't forget to get the end. And this part doesn't have to be perfect, you just want it on everything so that glitter sticks to everything. But we're gonna do several coats, so if it doesn't, it's totally okay. All right, so we got UV resin. We're gonna be using this Hollywood glitter. All right, and we are just going to sprinkle this Hollywood glitter all the way through. I forgot to take my spoon out. All right. Make sure I get that end. Looks good. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and cure this for 120 seconds at 36 watts, and then we're going to flip it and do it for another 120 seconds, and then we're going to sand it. So we're going to go ahead and cure that now. Okay, to flip it, all I'm going to do is turn these clips into the other direction so that the other side of the pen is on top. All right, so next 120 seconds. All right, now we're going to take a dry paintbrush, and we are just going to wipe the excess glitter off, any kind of loose glitter. And then we're going to do my very favorite thing, you guys. And we're going to sand it really quick just to make sure it's nice and smooth. It doesn't have to be crazy sanded or anything, but you just want to make sure that your pen's going to be comfortable to hold. So if you see any ridges or anything that looks not smooth. You want to sand that down. Places to pay attention to are on this edge and up here, if anything like pooled or anything like that. This looks great. So we're going to go ahead and do another layer of glitter. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our skim coat and we are just going to cover our pen again. And be patient with this part because it's so tempting to just put like so much resin so that you could do it, not have to put resin on it more than once, but it's a lot easier to just work in sections. These pens are super awesome because they make great gifts. They're so easy, they're cheap, and they're just fun to make. Tiny little masterpieces, and they all can be so different. And it's practical. All right. That looks covered, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get our glitter, and we're just going to recover it to get a really good coat of this Hollywood glitter on it. You can also roll your pen in the glitter too. That's helpful when you're doing a lot of them, to use paper plates and just roll your pen in the glitter. That looks beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cure this again, 120 seconds for 36 watts. We're gonna flip the the clips, and then we're gonna do 120 seconds for 36 watts again, and then we are gonna put some of our decals on it. All right, my dears, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our dry brush, wipe off any extra glitter, and then we are going to put just a coat of resin so that we can apply our decals. And the decals we're applying today are UV DTF decals, and they're actually cut from a sheet of a UV DTF wrap, which is super cool. With UV DTF, you can just like cut pieces and use the parts you like, which makes it super fun. Also, at this moment, if you had any parts of your pen that looked like it needed to be sanded more, you would sand it before you add another layer of resin. This one's looking pretty good, so I don't think, oh, I lied. We don't need to do a lot of sanding. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our resin. I don't know if any of y'all were part of the ones that were experiencing our button that went missing. Our checkout button on our website literally ran away. It was done with us. I don't know what happened. I mean, now we do, but it was crazy. Like, it was very strange and very unusual. But yeah, the checkout button just left. So that was fun. We did that yesterday. But we are all good now. It has returned and we're treating it very well, so it will not leave us again. A little bit more. Right now my goal basically is to just have a smooth coat, like a smooth finish, so that I can apply my decals on it, and then we're going to do a final coat after that. But the smooth surface to apply the decals is best, because trying to apply that to glitter would be difficult. And also, don't worry if you get a little bit in the end, we're going to clean that up at the end. All right. Same thing, we're going to cure it the same amount as we did all the other ones. Then we're going to go for our decals. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so we got a pretty finish on it. Take this glove off so that I can move my fingers. Okay, so this is looking great, nice and smooth. That white paint on my finger threw me off. I was like, what the heck? Okay, so here are just some little hearts I cut off from a UV DTF wrap. So it was part of this and I just cut some little hearts out of it. So we're gonna apply that randomly on our pen. So this is the top part of it, the clicker part, and then this is the writing side, the side that will write on it. So I think I'm gonna kind of put them in this direction. So when I'm holding the pen, they look kind of in the right direction. Okay, so take our UV DTF, and we're just gonna randomly place these hearts around it. There's one. There's a little rough spot right there, so I'm just going to sand that. It won't hurt anything because we're putting another layer of resin over this. If you've never worked with UV DTF, it's super cool. It's like they have like a little bubble texture to them. Almost like they're already resined. It does have like a layer of varnish on it, is technically what it is, but it's super neat. And today is August 9th. If y'all are watching it today, August 9th, 2024, if y'all are watching it today or August 10th, we have a sale happening on August 11th. So on August 11th, we have a sale happening on Zindy.com, so y'all check that out. It's gonna be on acrylics, DTF transfers for like shirts and fabrics and stuff, and then also kiss cuts. All right. So cute. Do I want to add any more, or do I like it how it is? I might add one more tiny heart. Cute. All right, so cute, you guys. I love it. Okay, so now we are going to put our final coat of UV resin on it, and then I'm going to show you how to clean it up and assemble it all back together, and then we will be good to go. All right. All right, so just making sure this coat is nice and smooth, as I do plan on it being the final one, but if we have to do another one, we will. But I would like for this one to be the final one, so I'm just making sure it's nice and smooth. All right, we'll be back. All right, my dears, this is done. So I'm going to show you how to clean it up and to put it back together. Okay, first things first, let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we are going to take our X-Acto knife, and the first thing we're going to clean up is the end of the pin of this part, okay? So we're just going to take our X-Acto knife and spin it around to get anything that could possibly stop the mechanism from working properly. And we're going to go ahead and remove it from the dowel rod too. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, okay? So on both sides, all we're doing is cleaning up anything that got inside. Because you want that, the little, I don't know what you call it. I don't know the technical term for the end of a pin, but the clicker thing that opens and closes the pin, we want that to move smoothly. And y'all, please be careful with this part. Don't get your fingers. You could also use like a Dremel and put in there to clean it off if you'd rather do that. That's another option. Great option. All right. All right, so that looks good. All right, so now let's assemble this thing back together. All right, so we have our silver part and the plastic. That goes in first. It may not go all the way through, that's normal, until you get this piece in there. And then we're gonna take our end that I have on this, and we are going to just screw that together. Double check, make sure it's working. All good. Take the tip off of the ink pen, and we are good to go, you guys. Looking cute. All works. And there is our finished glitter pen with UV DTF decals. I hope that helped. I tried to give you a full step-by-step so y'all knew exactly what to do to make these. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.